Hello everyone, Kevin here, and welcome to my channel Beat the Debt, a channel that's focused around getting you out of debt as quickly as possible. So if you ever find yourself struggling with personal debt that's making your life a living hell, and you need to pay it off as quickly as possible, here's exactly how to do that. This easy 6-step process will help no matter how much debt you're facing. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first step to achieving your financial goals is building a budget. We need to get your finances in order. This step alone will be the foundation block for building your future success. By training your brain to adapt to specific spending habits, you'll be able to control your money more wisely. Each month, you need to draft up a budget and stick to it. Differentiate your needs from your wants and list them out in complete detail. You'll know exactly what happens to your money, whether it's going in or out of your bank account. Count everything down to the penny. According to a 2016 study, people spend 12 to 18% more on credit cards instead of cash. So even track those plastic pennies. Pennies on your plastic? Plastic pennies. Anyway, by building a budget, you're allowing yourself to allocate a specific amount of cash towards individual purchases throughout the month. Perhaps by tracking your spending, you're able to notice if you're going over budget in one area of your life or another. To keep yourself in check, I recommend carrying around a small notepad so you can write down each of the transactions that you make, therefore allowing you a second chance to decide if you'd rather have the item or service or the money. Ultimately, the goal here is to tell every dollar exactly where to go. Apps like Mint, NerdWallet, and YNAB make it super easy to form a budget each month. Personally speaking, I like using Google Sheets. I pin it to my browsers just so I could check in on my spending habits throughout the week. I recommend making it a habit to check up on your spending throughout the month, perhaps maybe on a weekly basis, just to keep yourself within your spending limits. We'll dive deeper into building a budget in a later video. Okay, now that we have a budget, you're ready to hit that like button. Just kidding. Seriously though, you're ready for step 2. Make a checklist of every debt you owe. Leave no stone unturned. If you think you owe the debt, write it down. Don't rule it out just yet. Let's find the base and see how deep this hole is. Organize all of the debts line by line, listing the balance, the creditors owed, the APR or annual percentage rate, your minimum payment, and their respective due dates. Now, take a sigh of relief. Congratulations, this is a big moment. Taking a step back to see the bigger picture makes tackling the debt much easier. You know exactly what you're up against, where you stand today. Maybe you realize how doable this actually is. Yes, for some of you it may take years to pay off, but you've effectively created a roadmap to your financial dreams. After you found your number, here comes the fun stuff. You get to choose which plan suits you best for paying off your debt. For the psychological brain, where you like to see more progress and faster steps being crossed off, I recommend the Dave Ramsey snowball method. This is where you look to pay down the lowest balance first, effectively crossing off creditors from your list and rewarding yourself psychologically with a smaller debt list. Now for the frugal brain, I recommend the avalanche method. This is where you tackle the highest interest rate first. Boo interest! And really stretching your dollar. Pay down the debts that would cost you the most to carry over month to month. This way, you can save the most amount of money while simultaneously paying down your debt. There's a link to a debt calculator in the description below. The point is to gain momentum. You want to feel that metaphorical weight being lifted from your shoulders. Once you've completed your plan for debt repayment, you're ready for step 3. Set aside a $1,000 emergency fund. Seems simple enough, but the reward is much greater than peace of mind. Here's why. According to a 2020 CNBC article, within the past year, 28% of Americans experienced a financial emergency with an average situation costing $3,500. Needless to say, emergencies play a big role in racking up debt quickly. This means it's more important to build up an emergency fund now than it ever was before. Whatever savings you can accumulate acts as a buffer against high-cost debt when an unplanned event inevitably arises. By setting aside your next $1,000, you're accomplishing two things. First, you're protecting yourself against an unknown emergency that could wipe out any or all of your progress. And second, it will jumpstart your craving to save even more. By allocating a portion of each month's paycheck, $5, $10, $100, whatever it is, you can feel good about building up your future by doing something today. Okay, so you have $1,000 in your emergency fund. What's next? Step 4, live below your means. I know, this may sound super cringy, but hear me out. I promise it's not all that bad and how you can implement this in your daily life. So living below your means just simply means not spending the amount of money that you made last month. So it's not a 100 to 0 thing, but you need to be diligent on where you spend your money. Sure, some financial figures such as Dave Ramsey will tell you, in order to beat this debt, you have to eat rice and beans every meal, every day, and watch the clouds for entertainment. I don't necessarily agree. Much like a healthy diet, starvation isn't a good way to lose weight. So I'm not saying starve yourself of food and fun, but rather to really identify and hone down your needs from your wants and adjust your budget accordingly. Next time you find yourself pulling out your wallet, genuinely ask yourself, do I need this blank to survive? Seems silly to ask, but with this one question, you're able to give yourself a second chance at keeping your money. Fight for sales and discounts. See how much more of something you can get by not opting in to buy brand names. Ultimately, step 4 means vote with your dollar. Are you paying more than 30% of your annual income on housing cost? Would moving to a smaller square foot house, possibly closer to your work, be beneficial for your budget? Name of the game is bang for your buck. Get the most out of your income and start associating the word spending as a bad thing. Awesome, now that you've freed up some cash, you're ready for step 5. Get involved. The creditors from your list, contact them, reach out to them, see how they can offer assistance. Okay, so the creditors are here to make money. Yes, there's no denying that. But they also want their money back. Every so often, banks are forced to write off any unpaid debts in their taxes. The banks hate this because they would much rather have the cash in lieu of the tax benefit. So they have payment programs in place to help you start. If they're frequently calling you because you're behind on payments, still opt to talk with them. By opening up the conversation to the creditor, you may be offered help you might otherwise not get. Never assume anything. A closed mouth never gets fed. So don't be afraid to speak up. For example, if it's high interest rate credit card debt, ask the creditor for a 6-month 0% introductory offer. Tell the creditor you're considering a balance transfer to a competitor's card, but you'd be happy to stick with them as long as they're willing to match the rate. Or maybe you have a loan and you're facing a financial hardship. Don't be afraid to request a temporary interest rate freeze and possibly a payment program with an amount that you can actually afford each month. If it's a collection agency, ask for a letter of validation proving that you actually owe the debt. The bottom line is to just reach out. The absolute worst thing that could happen is they say no and you're right where you are today. So just try and communicate your story. Alternatively, if they tell you to take a hike, you know exactly what type of creditor you're dealing with next time. So the best thing to do is to be honest and polite, but also be prepared if things don't go the way that you had hoped. And again, I'll dive deeper on this in a later video. Last but certainly not least is step 6, baby. Increase your income. Find a grind, a side hustle, a second, a third job, anything to get your revenue boosted. So arguably this is the most important step of it all. You can scrimp, save, pinch pennies, but ultimately it's not gonna matter if you don't make enough money. With this day and age, downloading an app to earn some extra cheddar is becoming increasingly more common. Since the 2020 lockdowns, now's a great time to monetize your hobbies, learn a new skill, and pick up niche-specific work for extra money. Seriously, an extra 5 to 10 hours a week is all it takes to make a big difference. The more you can accumulate on a side hustle, the less painful step 4 can be. Think of your mind as like a parachute. It only works when it's open. So start asking yourself productive questions to yield productive results. For example, what can I do to earn more? How could I afford this? What could I do today to reach my goals? Brainstorm! Your head is your greatest asset, so use it. Feed your brain. No excuses, dig deep on the skills that you can monetize. Here are some ideas to get you started. You could rent any spare rooms on Airbnb or couches on couchsurfing.com. You could deliver, shop, and other various chores on TaskRabbit. You could drive Uber, Uber Eats, Lyft, Postmates, or Instacart. You can make and or sell items and crafts on Etsy, eBay, or Amazon. You could do data entry jobs on ClickWorker, Rapify your car, donate your blood and plasma, start a blog, vlog, or YouTube channel. You can even become a mystery shopper to eat free food at restaurants. Do something you enjoy while getting paid for it just because you downloaded the Sweatcoin app and you're walking around doing it. There's no ceiling on how high your income can go. These steps are a tried and true method to getting yourself out of debt. So if you want to be serious with yourself and get this debt out of your life permanently, you're going to make these steps a priority. Hold yourself to a standard and stick to it. And I promise in the end, it will all be worth it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found the video helpful, be sure to give it the old Donald Draper algorithm booster. It would really help grow the channel and get the message out to people who need to hear this. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave it in the comment section below. If you like this content and want more like it, consider subscribing. Here on my channel, I'm going to talk about debt, finance, and other money-saving topics. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.